Okay, thank you po. During my time as Mayor of San Juan, I personally saw the value of bringing higher education closer to our communities. We established the POP San Juan campus during my time to give our youth a chance to study without leaving their city. I've seen firsthand how powerful local education access can be, but I also know the challenges in sustaining quality and funding. Given that experience, ilang LUCs pa po ba nationwide ang nabibigyan ng direct assistance and development grants from CHED under the fiscal year 2026 budget? And how does CHED assess their compliance with quality assurance and accreditation standards?
Yes, thank you very much for that question, Your Honor. To date, we have 176 looks. But we only provide free hire assistance to initially 108, pero dalawa ang hindi nag-comply, so nagiging 106 na lang po.
Hindi pa naging yung University ng Makati.
Pero yung University of Makati daw, they are telling me, hindi daw kayo nang hihingi.
Kaya po nila siguro. Because yung sabi po kasi PUP San Juan is funded by the local government, no? Yun po ang ano lang. Kaya lang sana nga po, I'm hoping that it will be supported kasi na baka na mabiktima rin na politika kasi they have plans of changing it to San Juan Community College kasi nga po akala identify, but I think we know for a fact that PUP has very good reputation, no, na talagang most sought after po ang kanilang mga graduates. So sana nga lang ho, if you can look at it na talagang wag silang madamay, no, sa politics. Last po, isa sa mga pangunahing layunin ng Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, which was principally authored by Senator Bang-Aquino, ay ang mas malawak na sa access to free college education kasama ang LUCs. Kamusta na po ang rate of disbursement or funding support ng CHED sa mga LUCs under the free higher education program?
They are paid on time naman.
On time naman po.
Opo.
Okay. Mr. Chair, that goes to my first round of questions. Thank you po.
Thank you, Senator JV. We'll go back to Senator Bam.
May following question nun po ako tungkol sa ITEHIAP. Yung ITEHIAP law po was passed already, no? And I think si Senator Joel was at the helm of this. Nais ko naming malaman to clarify kung ITEHIAP ka, and this is the Expanded Tertiary Education Equivalency and Accreditation Program. If you are an ITEHIAP grantee, pasok ka rin ba sa libreng kolehiyo? Ito po phone-in question. At bakit hindi? Dahil tingin ko dapat kasama ka. Okay muna, ma'am. Kasama ko po ba kayo kung ITEHIAP kayo? So meaning nakapagtrabaho na kayo, you're going back to college, you want to credit some of your work experience, you're now enrolled in an SUC. Are you a beneficiary? Can you be a beneficiary?
Hindi pa po siya kasama.
Bakit?
Bakit? They are not regular students and may trabaho na po sila. Hindi po. Nag-work sila, so the ITEHIAP is just a support from the Commission on Higher Education for them to elevate their professional profile and get higher salary. Yun po doon nang gagaling.
But they're taking a course in the SUC and LUC.
They are po. ITEHIAP kasi, just like the graduate school, they are getting their degree in the university, but they are not covered by UNIFAST.
But they're getting their undergraduate diploma.
Posibleng to for consideration.
Okay. So ito po, mungkahi ko ito, kung undergraduate, pasok siya sa 10931. Kasi our distinction was, lahat ng undergraduate na papasok kahit anong edad mo, dapat pasok ka sa 10931. And if you look at Section 4, the only requirement is enrollment. All Filipino students, so dalawa pala, citizenship and enrollment. All Filipino students who are either currently enrolled at the time of the effectivity of this act, that was way back when, or shall enroll at any time thereafter in courses in pursuance of a bachelor's degree, certificate degree, or any comparable undergraduate degree in other school fees for unit enrolled in, provided that they pass, etc., etc. So, at least from my understanding of 10931, kasama mo sila, no? Now, ang understanding ko naman po yung mga nag-up, hindi naman ito high level. These are workers who want to use their work experience as a stepping stone for a proper degree. Meron po bang provision somewhere that excludes them from free higher education?
Thank you, Your Honor. We launched already the IRR. That was the first IRR that we launched upon my assumption in June 2, June 5. And tama po kayo, it is part in the guidelines in the that we are considering it. So we will make a guidelines that will address your concern.
Opo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my reading of the current laws, dapat pasok sila. Kasi Filipino, student, undergraduate, bachelor's degree, so parang pasok naman po siya. But if there's another provision that disallows them, I don't think there is, sa totoo lang. Sige po.
Yes po, if I can read.
Yes.
Para po, allocate dito part of our IRR, allocate and make available student financial assistance programs to ETIAP learners pursuant to RA 10931, other known as UNIFAS. Financial assistance for ETIAP enrollees shall follow the standard requirements and procedures and or as may be identified prescribed by the UNIFAS. So yeah, we will attend to that.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing.
So 10931 is UQT. We say UQT kasi you're a cutie, di ba? So mas masayang sabihin kaysa Okateya, di ba? You're a cutie, UQT. So si UQT po, 10931, iba po yan sa UNIFAST, no? So just to be clear, UNIFAST creates the board that administers the scholarships. Yung QT or 10931 nagbibigay ng libreng kolehiyo, no? So iba po siya but they work side by side. So thank you very much, Chairperson. Salamat po.
I do agree dahil yung ETIAP niya is leading to a bachelor's degree, no? And of course nagtatrabaho siya not because gusto niya magtrabaho dahil because kailangan niya magtrabaho, no? Hindi naman niya choice 'yun, no? So it's good that we will include that in the free higher education. So we'll recognize the Legal Education Board, pero may nakita akong kanina Bulilit Media. Nasaan na yung Bulilit Media natin? Kumakain na. Ito, napagod si Bulilit Media. Oo. Anak mo ba yun? Tuturuan mo na maging media. Sige, we recognize Chairperson Barlis of the Legal Education Board.
Magandang umaga po sa ating senador. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Lubos po kaming nagagalak at nagpapasalamat sa pagkakataon na ibinigay sa amin, no, na makapagsumamo sa ating mga senador para po sa ating legal education sector. Ang Legal Education Board po ay ang ahensya ng gobyerno na nangangalaga sa ating legal education sector. Ngunit kadalasan po nakakalimutan sa mga usapang pang-edukasyon. So maraming salamat po, Sen, no, sa pagkakataon na ito. Sa aming sa aming current na NEP, we were allotted 66.8 million under the Legal Education Regulation Program, which is lodged under the Commission on Higher Education. At sa totoo po lang, lagi kami nagpapasalamat sa CHED sa mga suporta, ngunit sanin po namin ang pag-lodge amin under the under the Higher Education Regulation Program of CHED makes us appear as a program. And it's not a program, it's actually a different agency of the government. We're working with the DBM already insofar as this is concerned. But whatever we work with the DBM, of course, will be future related. It's still a concern for the 2026 budget kasi po yung aming budget allocation for 2026 is the same as the budget that we received for this current year, 2025. And this is true despite the fact that we have more schools to inspect currently. Mas marami po kaming i-inspectionin ng mga eskwelahan. Mas marami po mga developmental processes and programs na ginagawa ang Legal Education Board ngayon. At sa totoo po lang, ang kondisyon ng ating legal education sector ay kailangan na po talagang i-upgrade. Kasi po kung paano ako tinuruan ng aking mga professor noon 30 years ago, ay ganun po ang nangyayari sa ngayon, despite the fact na ang dami na pong pagbabago sa ating legal system. So talaga pong kailangan na pong i-upgrade ng ating legal education sector at kailangan po talaga ng mas kaukulang atensyon at budget. Zero din po ang aming na-receive na capital outlay for this year, despite of course our plans for having a capital outlay. Again, we said for including us in the wish list. Nakita ko po kanina yung wish list na sinama ni Chair Agripis at nagpapasalamat po kami na naisama kami doon. Sana po mabigyang pansin po yung aming request for capital outlay. Isa rin po, we currently received a mandate from the DepDev to improve and increase the number of clinics in the country. These are law clinics. And ang design po ng law clinics natin, tumutulong po kami sa access to justice sa mga mahihirap, sa mga vulnerable sectors. Ito po ang isang paraan ng ating Supreme Court para ma-improve ang access to justice. At ito po ay nakalodge sa mga law schools. Ngayon po, ang ginagawa ng CHED dito ay capacity building and upskilling for purposes of improving the services of our law clinics. And unfortunately, of course, with the same budget that was given to us last year, we can only do so much for our law clinics. We really badly need the augmentation for our budget on the law clinics. Historically po, if you will take a look at the Legal Education Regulation Program, the budget utilization of LEB has always been exemplary. Kung hindi po 100% yan, 90% and above ang aming budget utilization. So makakaasa po kayo na ginagamit mo ng maayos ang mga budget na ibinibigay sa Legal Education Board. Sumulat po ako sa ating mga butihing senador kung ano po yung mga karaniwan namin, no? Sa legal education sector. At ito po ang mga sumusunod. For purposes of our clinical legal education program, we are requesting 27 million. For purposes of our legal education advancement program, and this involves the improvement of the quality of our law schools, we're requesting for an additional 22 million. For our faculty development and scholarship program, we're requesting for 47 million. Again, nagpapasalamat po kami sa CHED kasi yung local scholarships po ng aming mga LLM at doctorate in law ay bigyan po kami ng CHED ng budget for that at maraming salamat po for that. Ito po yung faculty development and scholarship program. Ang objective po nito ay maipadala natin ng ating mga professor abroad for purposes of learning from other jurisdictions, especially insofar as current trends in law are concerned. So yun po sana ang aming kahilingan, no? And then of course, we're also requesting for capital outlay and mobility as well as office space expansion and our personal services gap. Ang personal services gap po namin, karamihan po ng aming mga empleyado ay COS. Ilan lang po ang aming plantilla. Nagpapasalamat po kami sa BBM. Recently, ginrun kami ng 16 additional plantilla positions. Ngunit nangangailangan pa po ng mas maraming personnel para po sana matupad ang aming mga mandato. Yun lang po, Sen. Sana po ay mapakinggan ng aming pagsumamo sa Senado. Salamat.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, sa ngayon you're under, parang based dito sa nakita kong summary namin, you're a program, actually galing to sa CHED, no? You're a sub-program under the Higher Education Regulation Program.
Yun
May
po,
sarili kayong yung board nyo parang technical panel yata equivalent yan no?
Hindi po. Ano po, actually we function separately from
The CHED.
the CHED. We make decisions separately with CHED. Under the law, CHED is our admin and budget support or attachment. No, there is an attachment for budgetary purposes, but the design in the law is that we're supposed to be a separate agency solely for the legal education sector. Yun po, kaya po ang medyo may konting issue dun sa paglalodge sa amin as a sub-program kasi nagkakaroon po ng misappreciation, nagmumukha kaming programa ng CHED, pero sa katotohanan at yung sa structure ng batas mismo, hindi po dapat kami sa program. Although we're working with the DBM already regarding this para po sana magkaroon ng sariling bahay yung programa ng Legal Education Board at hindi siya mag-appear na mukhang regulatory ang kaisa-isang trabaho ng LEB. Hindi po regulatory lang ang ginagawa ng CHED, marami pong developmental program.
Ang Legal Education Board is a regulator.
Yes po.
No, ng mga law schools.
Yes,
diba?
yes.
And to assure quality and up to standards ang ating mga law school.
Yes.
So yun ang in gist, no? Yun ang mandate ng legal education.
Yes, yan.
Yes po. I think personally, I think it should be a body maybe attached to CHED but separate in terms of budgetary approach.
Opo. I think yun po talaga supposedly ang design under Republic Act 7662 that there is attachment with CHED so that we can closely coordinate with some of our projects or activities. Though yung sa legal education sector po kasi we're very much aligned with how the Supreme Court moves. So mas ang leaning po kasi is towards the areas of the judiciary, kaya talagang nagkaroon ng hiwalayan in terms of the functioning and the mandates, no? But since both are educational sectors, talaga pong nagkakaroon kami ng attachment.
Okay. Apo. We'll support your call to create a separate implementing unit. So that you will have your separate budget, maybe again attached to CHED. We'll support that. It's only DBM that can actually implement that. No? So kami will just approve. Nag-approve lang kami ng budget kung ano sinasabit ng executive dito. So we'll support that.
Thank you.
And then, but in the meantime, I heard that you have also a wish list. Kasama na yata ito dito sa wish list ng CHED, but submit to us a letter detailing those wish lists as submitted by CHED. No?
Actually, hindi po nakasama sa CHED. Isa lang pong item yung naisama sa CHED wish list. Pero ano po?
Baka marami kasing wish list kaya hindi sinama. Sige pa. I'm sure minamanage rin kasi ni Chairperson Shirley yung kanyang wish list. No?
Naiintindihan naman po namin kung saan nanggagaling ang CHED kasi nga prioritization din ng mga iba-ibang programs.
Nakuha naman na namin. So we'll try to accommodate as much as we can. If you notice, dami kasing mga requesting for augmentation, amendment, insertion, maraming ng terminologies, no? But we'll try to see what we can do to accommodate your request. Lahat naman ng mga wish list and request ng agency importante, no?
Thank you.
And pinifilter and ini-scrutinize pa namin further whether it's in line with their mandate or not, no?
Thank you.
So
Thank you
sige po. But mahalaga yung inyong office because you regulate law schools, no? And that's a very important responsibility.
Chair.
Salamat po.
Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Ayoko lang mabrandan na kuripot porque Ilocana ako. Yung request ng LED ay isnama namin sa wishlist check namin. Pero yung mga iba, maybe they realize when they recalibrated their new additional strategic agenda. So we support for that, Sen. And with regards sa sulat nila na sinabi nila na gusto nilang maihiwalay so that they will not be treated as program, I favorably endorse their letter to DBM. And we just received the letter of DBM now, citing us legal basis why they need to stay at CHED. So we can provide you.
Yeah.
But anyway po, lahat-lahat. Sa scholarship naman, kasama sila sa husay. We do recognize the importance of the functions of the Legal Education Board.
Ma'am Shirley, Chairperson Shirley, sinabit yung wishlist kasama na ang pleb doon. Kasama na?
Ang sinabit
maybe
nila,
can you harmonize? Kasi CHED being the mother agency, pa-harmonize nilang so that hindi naman, I don't want to encroach on the authority of CHED kasi being the mother agency, para i-harmonize lang kung ano yung priority, priority request.
Sige po, we'll coordinate po with the chair. Sure. Yeah.
Before I
Thank
ask
you.
my questions, Chair Shirley, si Senator Bongo send a list of questions. I'll furnish you. I'll give you a copy, and then can you just write him your answers? No. So I just want to put on record that Senator Go sent us a request to give you this list of his questions.
Yes.
And then you can submit to the committee and submit to him directly na rin, no, para masagot na rin. Isa pala.
noted on that, Your Honor.
All right. So I have some follow-up questions on the questions of Senator Bam. So I'll proceed with some clarificatory questions. Ito na buksan na rin ni Senator Bam kanina. And this is on the issue of utilization. And nabuksan niyo na rin to, Chair Shirley, but importante mapag-usapan to. We're looking at your utilization, and over the years, pababa yung TES and TDP in particular. Actually, yung CHED proper, hindi problema. No? Ang problema talaga ay yung TDP and yung TES. No? These are UniFast programs. No? So how do we, pinag-usapan natin to partly, no? But how do you improve the utilization of TES and TDP programs, no? Especially the ones you requested in the NEP, yung congressional yung SICA, congressional initiatives, yun pwede pa natin sabihin na hindi niyo naman request yun, no? Dagdag yun. Pero yung inyong request, that should be utilized to the fullest, especially mga mga grants, mga scholarship. So instant to, pag binigay mo kaagad reflective of your utilization. So what reforms are you doing to improve those programs?
Yes, Your Honor. We do acknowledge na in the major variable in the equation of the full utilization of funding is the UACTE. And we already traced the problem onto it. That's why we already met with the DSWD. The main problem is the validation. Because UniFast then work on the universe of the data of the listahanan. When Secretary Rex Gatchalian mentioned that every year they provide the list from DS qualifiers from the listahanan. So that is something as part of our policy now. We will no longer work on the universe of the DSW data. We just use the data coming from DSWD, which is the right agency to evaluate, pre-qualify incoming qualifiers under the UniFast law. To that effect, meron na kaming technical working group joined by DSWD and UniFast. Second po, we agreed already with the three secretaries, the DepEd, TESDA, Secretary Kikot, Secretary Sani, that we will have a focalized education program to what's the caravan to have a caravan on the information dissemination as to the number and who are the qualifiers para po alam nila na sila ay qualified. And then where is IT coming in? We agreed, we already signed a memorandum of understanding that we will share the anong tawag ba? Data sharing. Those who are coming from qualifiers from DepEd, the senior high school graduates, being validated by DSWD. So we will have a shared data portal po.
So before, pag binigay sa inyo yung listahanan and 4Ps, rini-revalidate nyo pa. Ganun nangyayari. So when you say revalidate, pupuntahan nyo yung pamilya? So go ahead.
We match it, Mr. Chair, doon po sa data po ng DSWD, and that requires sometimes a lot of time, no? Because sometimes we even opt for manual parang offline validation because of issue also on connectivity and all that, because of the number of grantees being validated, Mr. Chair. But now, yes, there's as mentioned by our chairperson that there is really this plan to improve the system and even come up with, as mentioned earlier by Senator Baum, that we have to come up with our guidelines, and we will include that in our guidelines now on the number of days in the validation period. We have to, I think, review it to shorten the number of days and make the call align with the opening of the semester, Mr. Chair. Because as of now, we would issue the call medyo hindi nagka-align doon sa pag-open ng semester. That is why even up to now, Mr. Chair, we are still validating some of our regional offices. We are still validating grantees for the second semester of 2024-2025, when in fact, we should be validating na the first semester ngayon of 2025-2026.
So ang backlog nyo is second semester 2024?
Konti na lang po, Mr. Chair.
So, and then narinig ko kanina kay Chair Agrupis, magpe-pre-qualify na kayo? Pre-qualify? Ang ibig sabihin ba niyan, pag ikaw ay nasa listahan ng 4Ps, listahanan, okay ka na? Kasi ngayon, meron pang process. No? Tama ba? Ano nyo pa, parang nagkakaroon pa ng another round of validation?
Yes po, sa old protocol na ginagawa nila. So we made an agreement with Secretary Gatchalian. Then once they submitted to us the number and then granularized into region and then the province, yung province ay ikakascade ngayon sa regional offices namin. And then they will be the one to do advocacies. I mean, information dissemination that this is the number. So abangan na lang po.
Okay.
But we are trying to streamline everything.
Okay, I think that's a good reform, no? Rather than replicate again what they are doing, DSWD, meron silang records and they really do groundwork kasi may tao sila all over the nation. Correct, may warm body sila eh. And they're also accountable to the conditional cash transfer. So they have to make sure na totoo yung taong yun at qualified yung taong yun. So I think that's a good reform that you are undertaking. Kasi based on data, for 2024-2025 first semester, almost 42% ang listahanan and 4Ps natin eh. No, halos kalahati na, ganun karami, no, ang ating 4Ps and listahanan. That's close to about more or less 450,000, no? 490,000 ang so marami talaga siya. So if you will validate one by one ulit, it will really take time. Really take time. Ang kailangan na lang how do you now solve the issue of PNSL. How do you resolve that? Because na-resolve nyo na nga itong listahanan for peace in PNSL naman. How do you resolve the delays there?
Yes, thank you again for that question, Your Honor. I randomly go and visit private universities and determine the distance to the available souk. Sang ride, nandun ka na eh. So, and I went back to the guidelines. Walang guidelines. So, the first and foremost way forward is to come up with the guidelines. Who should be qualified? Based on distance ba? Kasi nga magka-border sila, ito yung isang, hindi ko na lang sabihin yung province, ito yung province na nandyan, mag-tricycle ka lang ng something like 12 pesos, nandun ka na sa souk. So, those are the tidbits or information that I gathered in the ground by my, na sa akin nang nakikita ko talaga. So, those will be the input of our guidelines to be crafted. And number 2 po, sa PNSL, hindi ko alam kung may guidelines sila. Basta lang kasi ang criteria na I learned from UNIFAS is that once you are qualified that you are a private school in a province that no souks and looks, lahat sila mababayaran. Which is true, it's not supposed to be kasi private nga eh, maraming mayayaman na nag-enroll. So, i-enforce pa rin namin yung sa guidelines ng gagawin namin, i-back up pa rin namin yung provisions ng UNIFAS law. Kahit enroll sila sa PNSL, they should fall within the criteria na they belong to the listahanan.
I support that. I fully support that. In fact, I was talking to my staff that we might include that in a special provision. Kasi na-correct na natin before yung I'll show you a slide itong but before I show this slide, yung tanong ko, Chairperson, yung sa PNSL nadidelay rin yung kanilang pagbayad, nadidelay rin yung utilization ng pondo. How do you solve that portion? Kasi na-solve din na yun sa listahanan and sa 4Ps, yun sa PNSL naman. Kasi if you account PNSL, listahanan, plus 4Ps, that's already 70% eh. The rest is tulong-dulong na.
Can I request
Yes, go
Attorney
ahead, Attorney De La Cruz. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sa ngayon po, Mr. Chair, yung process din po natin sa PNSL ay same with the rest of the categories, no, listahanan for peace, because there's one umbrella and they're all under TES. So before, prior to the board resolution passed by the UNIFAS in 2024, the prioritization, ang process po noon ay wala na pong, hindi na po binabangga noon ang PNSL natin. Once you're enrolled in a private institution with no souks and no looks, so automatically you qualify for TES. But with the prioritization po kasi ngayon, nakasama na po siya doon sa TES, whether you're enrolled in the private SUCs, LUCs, and in PNSL, you have to be matched, no? You have to be validated whether first you are listahanan, second, whether you're 4Ps. And then the third category, which will you fall as a plain PNSL, is only if there is a remaining slots, Mr. Chair. So kasama pa rin pa siya doon sa naging proseso natin on how we process the TES po, yung PNSL. Unlike in the past, na it's purely when you're PNSL, there's no matching required. Opo. I think that is something also that the chair would like to revisit again. No?
Yeah. Kailan na umpisahan yan, yung concept?
The resolution by the UNIFAS board was passed in July 19, 2024, Mr. Chair. Yeah, pero na-implement po ngayong 2025, Mr. Chair.
I support that. In fact, yun nga sinasabi ko sa staff ko na dapat kahit PNSL, they prioritize the poor. No? Kasi umiikot rin ako, Chair Shirley, sa mga ilan PNSL, and you know, the PNSL serve a specific purpose. Wala kasing college doon no? Pero so okay 'yon na merong PNSL, pero prioritize naman nila yung poor, or else kasi may top up yan, ang papasok talaga mga mayayaman lang, no? And tayo sinasubsidize natin ang mga mayayaman. No, so we support that. We support your the reform that you are doing, no? That to prioritize. Ang gusto lang naman natin prioritize the poor, no? Para hindi sila ma-dislodge or matanggal sa prioritization. So I'll show